Hi guys, Brand here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today I want to talk about why tunneling at 5 gens works, because there's a scenario where it actually doesn't, that I have had a very brief, very surface level expertise and interaction with. I kind of want to lay out and tell you why it's a thing and how to counter it, because there's not actually really a way to counter it, but that's kind of like the point of why people tunnel at 5 gens. So that may sound a little confusing, but let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into why tunneling at 5 gens actually works. So I feel like it could be very, very obviously straightforward. It's like tunneling at 5 gens creates a 3v1 situation fairly early in the match. Even if you don't end up finishing the 3 hook by like the 5th gen, you might be at 4 gens or 3 gens. Finding a 3v1 for a lot of gens remaining in the match is fairly impossible, especially if you're in a public match. If you're just out there solo queuing or doing, or even like if you're a 3 stack and you just have one bad random, if you're having a killer tunnel of 5 gens, that 3v1 is nearly impossible to come back from. It's one of the strongest scenarios you can end up in as killer. Now, I did briefly mention that there is actually a counterplay to this. Not really, but there is a counterplay to this. There's actually something you can do about being tunneled at 5 gens, and the answer is not going to sit well with you, because it is quite literally be in a 4-man, be on comms, and have tournament level perks. That's how you counter tunneling at 5 gens. And if you actually look into DVD tournaments, whether it be scrims, actual tournaments, charity tournaments, if you actually look into any sort of competitive play in the Dead by Daylight field, often you will see somebody try to tunnel somebody out at 5 gens, because in competitive, the rules are different. So each hook state is worth a certain amount of points, and then the gens and the escapes are worth a certain amount of points. So the rules are a little different than just like secure a 3K, right? It's like the rules are a little different there. So when you're in this situation, let's take of this not from the perspective of a public match in Dead by Daylight. Let's take a perspective of like this is just like a scrim, right? Like a skirmish match. Killer starts tunneling at 5 gens. The moment that the survivors see this happening, they have multiple options that they can do about this, because they're informing on comms and they are running the best possible perk loadouts. They are going to start cranking gens. They're going to start just pushing out the gens, because they just want to secure as many escapes as possible in order to get as many points as possible. They're going to start cranking those generators, right? Also, usually in a lot of these teams, there'll be someone on the team that it's their job to take aggro. They'll probably have like deli, DS, off the record. They'll have perks like that. Essentially, they're the aggro homie. That's what they do. And if they get the understanding, they get the inkling that this other person is being tunneled, and that's what the killer's going to go out to do, which obviously they're in a 4-man on comms, so they're going to ascertain that information. They're going to get it. They're going to be like, oh, I'm being tunneled. 4th guy's going to be like, oh, I'm being tunneled. And then that guy, after that first hook, runs up, unhooks the guy, gets his deli, right? Killer decides to keep tunneling. The aggro guy is going to run in front of him, take the down. Hopefully the killer takes the bait and picks him up, puts him on hook. He delis off, continues with his off the record and now with his DS active, chasing down to body block for the tunneled survivor. So there are a lot of things that you can do if you're in a 4-man, if you're on comms, and you have really strong loadouts. But the reason tunneling at 5 gens works is because it's in a public match where there is no collective, there's no collective communication or preparedness. That's another big part of it. Preparedness for that scenario to counteract it. So like a lot of people, even if you're in like a 3-man, a lot of people are like just running for challenges, right? Like watching an incredible creator over here on my 3rd monitor, Shmoogaze. Good old Shmoogaze. I will link them somewhere, do something around here so you can go to them. They do play mostly Survivor, but they also do a little bit of killer, do like Oni, Blight, that sort of thing, and they're very good at them. She is currently doing the random perks challenge. So literally she has no choice on what perks she's running. And if you get multiple people on the team doing that, you have somebody doing a healing challenge and you get a plague, like there's a lot of things that can go wrong and public matches. There's a ton of things that can go wrong in public matches, and it is a very, very, very incredibly far cry from that organized 4-man that brings perks that are all like filling a role and prepare for the worst possible scenario, like somebody being tunneled at 5 gens. So essentially, the reason I brought this up, the reason this actually came to me, maybe I should have started with this, but you know, I like my videos being very organic, is that I watch a lot of late night big killer streamers now, just because it's like, I don't know, when I can't sleep, it's kind of something that, you know, lulls me to bed. I try to watch Survivor content, but it's kind of, some of it's fun, but a lot of it's just sitting on gens, which is not very good, not very entertaining. So I usually just watch big killer streamers late at night when I cannot sleep. And a lot of them do this. A lot of them tunnel at 5 gens. And what I always notice is that there's a certain point where they actually run into a team that's either like 3-man in comms, 4-man in comms, and then they just start whining. They're like, oh, Survivor's OP. This is so bullshit. I can't beat him. Behavior needs to nerf this, behavior needs to nerf that. But they've spent the other like 4 hours on stream, like hard tunneling a dude out at 4 or 5 gens. Essentially taking advantage of the fact that they're in pubs and they're in you know, probably either duos or solo queue for the most part is what they're facing. So they spent their whole stream like being super, super sweaty. And then they finally meet their maker, right? They finally, not the game that failed. sorry, behavior. Don't take my shirts away. I don't even have them. They finally meet their maker. They finally meet the one counter that there is for tunneling at 5 gens, which is just be in comms and be running builds that prepare yourself for that sort of situation. And then they're mad, and then they're angry. They're asking for stuff to get nerfed. They're insulting the survivors, and it's like, my brother, this is literally the only thing that counters you. This is literally the only thing that counters you. This is literally the only thing that counters you. And of course, this is under the assumption that the killer main is competent. Obviously, like if the killer main's bad at the game and they decide to tunnel the good looper, they can get run for like 3 or 4 gens, which you guys have seen happen. But in general, if the killer is like at least moderately competent, yeah, tunneling at 5 gens does not have a counter unless the survivors are in that scenario. So I just find it funny that like I see so many big like killer main streamers play that way and then whine when they actually get a 3 or a 4-man who's actually prepared for the BS when that's literally the only thing that actually counteracts this. So I just think it's just like a weird, I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too deep and maybe I'm caring too much, but it seems like a lot of killers get very like cozy with like pub bullying, right? And then I guess it's DBD players in general, because I see a lot of survivor groups that are like, you know, not deep hip squads, because those are a thing of the past for the most part, but you know, they're running, you know, quad brand new part and taking you to Batum and stuff like that. But essentially DBD players really do love to take advantage of this whole like bully and pubs thing. And when they finally meet a fellow bully, you know, like somebody who's like prepared to deal with this stuff, it's just suddenly like, the game's bad, the game needs to be changed, I hate the game, blah blah blah. And it's like, I just watched you bully people for like 4 hours, but now that you're the one getting bullied, not even getting bullied, but you are now having to fight somebody who is on your level instead of just, you know, taking candy from a baby like you have been for the last 4 hours of your stream. Now you're whining, now you're complaining, and I find it super hypocritical and annoying that is kind of the entitled attitude that I have seen, is that it's fine when I get to pub stomp and pub bully, but like the moment I actually have to meet my maker and fight somebody who's playing as sweaty as I am, now the game's unbalanced, now the game sucks, now these survivors are annoying, and it's like, it's just, I don't like it. But yeah, the point of the video is tunneling at 5 gens works because you're essentially taking advantage of the public atmosphere and the uncertainty and the RNG of it. Whereas in a actual, like if you were actually forced to play somebody who is just as sweaty as you were, in terms of like an actual like competitive environment, you would probably meet your maker and it would not work. So yeah, that's why tunneling at 5 gens works. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. But other than that, that's it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. But I do upload daily, so we'll see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.